how I made just over 5K trading small caps in May 2023. Now, this video is going to be a bit more of a ranty video compared to my other videos. If you want something that's a bit more dense with knowledge or information, feel free to check those out on my channel, such as the My Setup playlist, which goes over how I kind of trade and my setup, and most people seem to enjoy those. Now, getting into it, this is the first month that I've actually shared my P&L. This is kind of from direct inspiration of seeing other people share it, and I kind of felt very proud of this month and I wanted to share it anyway. But the main inspiration has been kind of Day Trading Zoo, and I always look up to him in some sense, so it's been great to see him showing his amazing progress, and he just hit, I think, like a 14K month, so I'm super proud of him. And overall, my performance has done quite well as well this month. Now, I don't know if I'll keep this as a trend of showing my P&L every month. If people really enjoy it, then maybe I always thought sharing P&L can sometimes be a bit obnoxious or just a bit taking away from the value of what you're trying to actually say about your trading. So that's why most of the time I just speak in R, because I think I agree with Brian Lee, where speaking in R is very practical. Everyone knows what you're kind of meaning if you're saying -1R, +2R, things like that. But at least for this month, we'll try it out. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see if everyone enjoys it. So leave a comment below if you do. Otherwise, I'll kind of stick with just saying +/-R. At the moment, we just about hit like 5.3 on the month. After locates, I think that kind of brings it down to about 4.5 or 4.4. As I don't trade too much, locates don't eat a huge part of my profit. They do eat a good amount, but most of the time they don't eat everything. I am with TradeZero, so most of the time they do eat more than if I was with other brokers. But from what I've seen, it's normally about 20%, 10%, depending on the month. And this month wasn't particularly high, so it's been quite good in that sense. Now, I always use TraderSync to show all my charts on Twitter and to show my performance. The reason for that is just very simple, nice presentation. It's easy to kind of upload my trades from TradeZero. So that's most of the time why I stick with them. Now you can see here everything, all my return on winners, my return on losers. I've got a win rate of about 66% this month, which is finally reverting back to the mean. I was at like 70% for the past 2 months, and that was pretty, that's a very high band for my, system's win rate. So it was actually kind of reassuring to see me go down to about 66 this month. But realistically, I think it could have done 70% if I was just performed a slight bit better, but overall, I'm not that displeased with it. We can see my biggest profit was about 1,400. That was a monster trade. I think it was like 30% fade. I didn't execute anything differently. It was simply that I was given that opportunity. I didn't know anything about that trade that was going to make it an even bigger fader or something like that. I just kind of put on the trade, and that's what happened. Biggest loss, really proud of this, earning -300 to 12. My R normally on a day is about $300. It will slightly depend on days. At the moment, I'm kind of using static risk. I don't use 1% of my account. Before, I think I was using about 1 to 2% depending. But at the moment, I just trade $300. It's a very nice sweet spot for me. I feel very happy if I'm able to achieve anything above $300, but I don't feel hugely sad on a day if I lose $300. And especially because I only trade 1 ticker a day, that works quite well. If I was trading 2 or 3 tickers, then I definitely would not be doing $300 each trade. It would be way too much risk. But because I only trade 1 ticker a day, it seems to work out quite well. So in essence, it's kind of like a max loss of about $300. Obviously, there's locates added to that. So normally the loss is about 1.2R, 1.3R. So that's like 370, 380 most of the time on average day. Now, I've kind of put all my notes just on this one slide. I'll try and expand upon each one, but overall this month has been kind of similar to the last month, and it's definitely been a month where I've really addressed my kind of feelings and kind of put them all together to really understand what's kind of going on. But overall, I'm very happy with the progress. The performance has just been really solid, and for the past couple of months, I've been just happy overall with my execution, my strategy, all that kind of stuff. The execution speed has been great. So obviously a big part of my systematic trading is I compare my results to my backtests. Now in small caps, I'm not fully systematic. I am 80% systematic and 20% discretion. I go over this quite a lot in the How to Backtest Bootcamp, which I actually just recently opened up for July 1st. The May cohort's completely done, and everyone was really happy. I think we had a couple things people wanted me to add, and I've already got those in action. But overall, it's been really an amazing experience, and just working with like 21 traders has been really awesome. But yeah, as a part of that, I trade 80-20 split. And what that means is in small caps, my entries and exits are sometimes somewhat discretionary, but that kind of part of discretionary comes back with data. So it's most of the time things that are not very elegant to quantify or elegant to put into full automation. And I kind of keep those to where I combine those data points all in my head and kind of allow myself to execute based on all that information being presented to me. That's how I personally like it. I have done actually algos and small caps for other traders, and I have actually designed kind of my own. But from at least my perspective and my kind of trading, I like that split. But in futures, I'm fully algorithmic. And this month for futures as well, it's been really good. Obviously, I ran it on a prop firm account for quite a while. And then I've been running it on my own capital, which has been going good. Nothing insane. I think off the top of my head, I think we entered about like 4K as well, which was really, really cool. I think without commissions, it was like 6K almost. So there's quite a lot of commissions. But overall, I'm quite happy with the algo experience of trading futures as well. So that's going to be something I'll probably do more videos about soon. I've been cautious about doing videos about futures. I don't think there's anything wrong with documenting like your journey, and that's what I've been doing on this channel and on Twitter. But I don't want to document too much about futures just yet because I don't feel that I've got a super round base. Like with trading small caps, I've been doing it for just about 4 years now. It's coming up to 4 years. So I do feel, somewhat that I have knowledge. Obviously, I'm nothing compared to people that have been trading for 10 years, and some traders I've worked with that have been trading like 20 years. So obviously, in that sense, I'm a very small fish in a very big pond. And the same goes with my P&L. I'm not trying to brag on this video at all. To be honest, I don't ever feel much bragging rights. I think that's the great thing about trading to some sense, is you can always have a nice humbling experience of see someone make way more than you. So obviously that can cause FOMO, but for me, I try and just take it as a humbling experience. So to keep myself kind of in mind of what's potentially possible. Next was decision making. Kind of already with this was that it's just been very good, combining and having very good sleep. So my decisions on the day have been quite good overall. I have been kind of concerned about the potential to become lazy due to the lack of work in my current strategy. This is a problem that I'm blessed to have, but it's definitely something that's new to me. Now that my strategy is working quite well, it's, I think I finally hit a very nice sweet spot. As long as I'm making good decisions on the day overall, it's quite a seamless execution. There doesn't seem to be much work for me to do. At the end of the day, obviously I work on my futures algos and stuff like that, but for my actual small cap strategy, there's not really much to do. So I've been trying to just make possible changes to my strategy without actually implementing them. So that allows me to keep updated with my kind of strategy and potential things I might want to change in the future. But there is no need for me to change anything right now, because I think if I changed anything more, it'd probably be overfitting. So it's just kind of keeping me busy and keeping me in tune with the market, which has been, I think there's probably a better solution to this, but at the moment I've been kind of searching around for what other people do in this kind of time, because I definitely don't want to become rusty, but I also want to not have to do as much work, I guess, as that's the point of creating like a good strategy. So overall, kind of finding the mix of that, and that's what a lot of this month has kind of come down to. I've been also focusing on tracking execution compared to my full system strategy execution. So I've made pretty much an algo version of my system, and I've obviously got my version, which is the 80-20 split. So I've just been comparing that every month for the past, I think, 3 or 4 months to see how I've been doing compared to like full automation. I don't think it will be something that I'll see 1 month and be like, oh wow, the algo performed way better than me, let me just go over to algo. Not something really like that. It's more actually for a very good baseline. A really difficult thing in trading is tracking how well you're doing. Having a lot of losses on a month does not mean you're actually doing bad. If they were all system losses, that doesn't actually mean you're being a terrible trader. So having some kind of baseline you can create for yourself is really important. And I've just kind of gone 1 step extra by creating a full algo for it. But a lot of the time, it's just kind of tracking general metrics. Obviously, a huge one, just prioritizing risk management. This is pretty much the same with every other month for the past. Really, I'd say risk management was a huge one for me. Finding edge was probably the biggest one that made me, start the profitability kind of start to become profitable. But risk management has been the hugest of keeping it and keeping consistent. So this is just every month. I'm very consistent on, making sure I'm only losing like $300 or whatever I'm planning on the day, and not overstepping that really by anything. So overall, that's been a big one as well. I've been adopting this kind of new mindset of just not rushing to hit a million. Funny enough, the easiest way for me to do this has been just being very busy. So doing like the bootcamp, working with other traders. I've got my own business on the side as well. Those kind of things have been really useful, fundamentally. I think that like the first 2 years of trading, this is all from my experience, so this doesn't necessarily mean has to be the same for you, but the first 2 years, you have to like devote everything to it, and then you kind of have to like just put it aside. You have to, once you put in that work, you need to find what works for you. After going through all the countless lessons trading has for you, and will have for you as you continue to learn. But having it as your full priority all times, I've noticed not necessarily will actually make you a better trader. And finally being able to kind of step aside and just be like, okay, I'm just executing today. There's not much else to do. I'm going to have to work on all this other stuff, has allowed me to stop this impatient syndrome in me telling me that I have to, hit a million or whatever trading. Obviously, I think realistically, it's come down to steps where I'm not rushing to hit certain goals, but I have smaller goals that have then slowly going to work myself up to like a million. But for how crazy it sounds, that's kind of the way I've been doing it, and this has really been a great amount of success coming from this mindset shift of not having to rush for anything, being kind of busy with other things, not doing a full prioritization of trading. That's why you'll also notice me tweeting a lot and doing like, as much valuable tweeting as possible, just because it's a good thing to do on the side as well. It puts my mind off it, and there is a sense of, can you explain a subject? And if you can, that normally means you are consuming that information and actually understanding that kind of information a lot more. So I've been priding myself on trying to, consume this information or learn these lessons and then putting it in nice, clear format of writing so other people can learn from them, and also so that it solidifies it in my own brain. You'll probably know this. You could tell yourself a million times to be disciplined. That doesn't mean you will. But having those kind of systems in place and actually having those things that makes it solidified in your brain of having a routine around it has been something that's been very fundamentally important to me. And I've noticed very big changes from it. Obviously, as with everything, everything's very slow. I used to think in the first year I could, rework my whole brain in like a couple months. Nope, it's taken me years. But overall, that's been, a good experience to learn from. And that pretty much wraps up all my notes. Let me know if there's anything you want to know about from this month in the comments, or, send me a DM on Twitter or tag me. I always respond to pretty much everyone. I do respond. Yeah, I pretty much respond to 100% of people on Twitter. So if you ever need any questions or any help, always feel free to message me. Now, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please like and share it with anyone else who might be interested, and I hope you had an amazing month as well.